Our first demo is from BlueRithm. BlueRithm is a modern and intuitive building commissioning and tab software. It gives you confidence, control, and saves time and money by streamlining and managing your projects. So I'm going to hand it off to Andy Martin to give us a quick 15-minute demo. Andy, take it away.
Well, thanks for joining, everyone. I'll jump right into things and talk a little bit about why we exist, what we do, what the point is of a software platform like BlueRithm existing. So, in today's environment, our modern projects, they're increasing in complexity, increasing in scope. The contracting models are becoming more and more complex with design, build, and integrated project delivery models. The equipment, the systems, the technology is becoming more and more complex. There's the boundaries between equipment and technology platforms are blurring, where equipment's being equipped or built with factory controls that are becoming more and more sophisticated. The integrations are becoming more and more complex. The expectations are increasing for zero defects on day one. As soon as that building's turned over, as soon as that owner takes possession of a property, of a new building, they expect there to be zero defects on day one, and that all systems are optimized, they're performing to the specifications, the promises that were made, and the design and everything that was laid out in the early stages of the project with the vision and everything else. In the market, in the industry, economic pressures are increasing. There's more and more competition, and our competition is using technology better than us. And that's true for any industry, but in the construction and in engineering, property development industry, specifically, historically, it's lagged quite a bit, but that's changing, and it's starting to change quicker and quicker. So that rate of change is increasing. So lots of companies are learning to take advantage of technology solutions out there and applying them to their practices, applying them to their firms, and it's allowing them to do more with less, be more efficient, deliver higher quality, more consistent products and results. So just to talk a little bit about why our customers come to us, why they sought us out to begin with. A lot of it revolves around just inefficiencies, repetitive work that people were doing, creating equipment lists, slogging through spreadsheets, whether it's checklist or test forms or tracking forms, just creating all of this content and collateral, filling it out, distributing it out to the project teams, collecting all that information back from the project teams, possibly working with technology solutions that they've adopted previously, whether it's an off-the-shelf product or it's something they developed internally. Maybe they're running into limitations with those solutions. Dealing with inaccuracies around information that they're getting back from the field or not getting back from the field, and just having an incomplete picture of what's going on the project, and not having a good way to deliver status updates and progress updates, and needing to spend a lot of time talking to people and emailing and having meetings and really you're spending a lot of time trying to collect and aggregate and sift through all this information. And then, of course, everybody's favorite, creating reports. So progress reports, systems manuals, end of project commissioning reports, incredibly time intensive. And it's something that people just have a hard time investing that much time into these days. So what we do is help folks with all of those things. We help you organize and digitize all of this information on your projects. Build it all in digital templates, project templates, allow you to easily access that and standardize and drive efficiencies throughout the whole process. Optimize the communication between not only your teams as you're working through projects, and communication up through higher level stakeholders that aren't involved in day-to-day activities within your firm, but the whole project team on every project, all the way from technicians and subcontractors that are doing work in the field, all the way up through the stakeholders like the owners and the people that are financing and running developing the project. We facilitate collaboration across all of these stakeholders as well. So all of this communication that needs to take place in a high quality and a very efficient and fast way. BlueRithm definitely helps with that as well, when everybody's on the same platform, sharing and accessing information in the same place. The report automation piece is a big part of it, and just automating as much of this administrative work as possible. And that includes collecting information that goes into the report. So it's not just the click a button and have the system build the report. It's also gathering all that information and compiling it and organizing it and putting it into the right order in the format and everything else. Those are all things the system can do for you. And of course, giving people the power to be able to understand all of the relationships between all of these complex systems and different stakeholders and just complexity in general. So giving you the tools to be able to answer questions about, different phases of a project or different stages of commissioning or phases of commissioning, whether it's, level 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, if you're working on a data center project, or if it's, functional performance testing with the chilled water system for phase 1 of a hospital project. Lots of those types of questions are very difficult to answer when you don't have the right tools to do that. So what do we do differently, or what do we offer that's different versus your other options out there on the market? There's lots of options today. There's platforms that allow you to just generic platforms that allow you to build up a process in a cloud-based platform. There's other tailor-made platforms that are dedicated to the commissioning process. So what makes BlueRithm different? One of the big things that we do, and one of the big reasons that our customers choose BlueRithm, is because of the high level of customization and flexibility that the platform allows. So it's very modular, it's very flexible. You can take your existing workflows and your existing forms, and you can bring all that into the platform, create your digital versions of all of that content and collateral, and digitize all that and take advantage of all of these efficiencies and optimizations with the cloud-based platform, but still retain what makes your process and your approach unique. Our platform has a lot of very powerful querying and filtering tools. So these are the tools that allow you to answer those very complex questions about all of these relationships between the different phases of a project, the different types of activities and the issues and everything else that's happening, all the different stakeholders, who's doing what when. These are really hard questions to answer when you don't have these types of querying and filtering tools. The reporting tools are really powerful, really easy to use. All of the same querying and filtering capabilities also built into all of our reporting tools. So if you need to answer these very complex questions, you can build the dashboards and build the list of equipment or test forms or whatever it is, but you can also build report exports based on all that same data. Guest user access. So when it comes to technicians and subcontractors and other people that aren't part of your organization, that haven't had the background and the training, we make it really easy for them to get on board, where you can click or send a project invitation email, and it's got everything they need to know, 5-minute long training video, super easy for them to get in and use the platform. So we realized real early on that this was very important for our customers' success, to be able to bring not only their clients and their customers, but the whole project team, to get them on board and to get the buy-in. It's got to be super simple and super straightforward. So we've worked hard, and we're continuing to work hard to make that process as easy as possible for those guest users. So again, a big part of the platform is to give you insight into the project, allow you to wrap your head around all of the complexity and all of these complex relationships between all the systems and activities and activity that's happening, without having to do a lot of extra work. So as events are unfolding, as contractors are filling out checklists, as your team's going through different stages of commissioning, whether we're talking early stage activities in design phase or integrated systems testing, level 5 commissioning, the tools in BlueRithm are pulling all of this data together and presenting it in ways that make it really easy to understand what's going on without having to spend a lot of time. And again, it's not just the current state of the project and the whole project. There's tools that allow you to zero in on very specific parts of it, or very specific relationships between certain types of equipment or certain systems or certain phases of the project. And it allows you to build these dashboards and build these reports and everything based on all of this querying and filtering capability. So lots of tools dedicated to those types of outcomes and results. There's an automated scheduling tool built into the platform. So this actually, this is something we've had for quite a while. It's the nice thing about it is, when you do need this type of tool for your commissioning efforts, the system actually builds it for you. So it's very simple, very easy to use when you do need it. And of course, we realize that not every scope of work on a commissioning project or part of a commissioning program involves managing the schedule or this level of detail. So in those cases, you can just turn it off if that's the case. But when you do need it, it's very easy to use, very simple, and it really takes the complexity and the extra time out of the equation when you need that tool. Again, lots of dashboards and capability to build reports and lists of equipment and test forms and issues when you need to dig into things. The reporting tools, again, very powerful, very easy to use, also very flexible and modular, lots of drag and drop functionality. You can build up any type of report, whether it's something as simple as a site visit report with some issues and pictures and notes, or a complete top to bottom comprehensive report with every single thing in the entire project. You can use the report building tools to do that. It makes it real easy. You can actually build report templates, which makes it even easier to drive that standardization and consistency from project to project. So if you spent time setting up filters and ordering and structure and everything on your report templates, you can take that and apply it across projects into the future as well. So again, a big part of the differentiator of BlueRithm is, or a big differentiator with our platform is the ability to take your existing forms, your existing format, your existing workflows, and 9 times out of 10, we can map all of that directly into our platform. So you don't have to take your process and try to reimagine it and reinvent it in order to fit it into the platform that you want to use or decided to use. You can have the platform adapt to the way you do business, which does a couple of things. One, it allows you to continue doing things the way you've done them when you found something that works, especially if you've developed it over time. You don't have to reinvent that. And second, with a lot of pressure and forces in the market, putting a lot of competitive pressure on commissioning firms and starting to drive this phenomenon of commoditization. That's something that our customers are concerned about. It's something they want to avoid, and having the ability to maintain what differentiates their process and their approach, even while adapting a cloud-based platform, is really important to them. Lots of flexibility. If you need to create matrix style forms, you can do that. We support equations and formulas in our forms. So, if you're working on a project and you have a situation where you have a bunch of laboratories and you need to do a bunch of comparisons and calculate volumes and all those sorts of all that math that goes into that, you can build all of that directly into your forms in BlueRithm, right into your test forms. And again, there's no real fixed way that you have to build up your activity. So the whole process can go into your project's design phase all the way through closeout. Issue punch list management, of course, that's there. That's a big part of the collaboration. It's a real simple concept, but it's a big part of speeding up the communication, improving the quality of the communication, reducing that feedback cycle. It's a big part of what the platform does. And again, just to emphasize the ease for subcontractors, technicians, and other guest users to use the platform. There's dedicated dashboards for those contractors to use when they get in. They get that project invitation email. It brings them directly to this My Work Summary, and it gives them a list of all the projects they're part of, and it's only showing them the things that are relevant to them. They don't have to worry about everything else on the project, or for that matter, how to navigate the system. We've also invested in making it real easy to set projects up. So there's a project setup wizard that makes it real easy to take advantage of all your templating that you've done, template forms, template workflows, everything else, and just map it over into your projects and avoid recreating the wheel each time. In terms of the platform, there's no device limitations. The full-blown web portal works on any device. It's just built on modern web technology, so it rescales and resizes no matter what device it's being displayed on. And then when you need the offline access, we have an Android app, we have an iOS app, and we have a Windows app. So really, whatever device you're using, wherever you're using it, you're covered. Again, you've got the offline access with the apps, and then the full-blown web portal works on desktop, laptops, and tablets and smartphones and everything. So technology-wise, no restrictions. So that's what I have to share with everybody today in a nutshell. I hope there's some questions that we can answer for folks, and excited about our giveaway and any other discussion from here.
Okay, thanks so much, Andy. So before we get into the Q&A section, we do have a giveaway item from BlueRithm, and something I wish I can get my hands on, but that's okay. I'll leave it to the attendees. It's one Apple iPad Air, the latest generation, and this value is at $599. So if you want this item to be yours, comment BlueRithm rocks in the chat box, and we'll do the drawing after the Q&A. Good luck, everyone. The first question is, Andy, commissioning issues, is the commissioning issues log tracking capable?
Commissioning issues, log tracking capable.
That was the question that came in. I'm not sure if that makes sense to you.
Yes, I guess the answer would be yes. Exactly what type of tracking, maybe we need to zero in or get some clarification on that. That being said, there are definitely tools built into the platform to allow you to track issues, track the issues log. So there's dashboards, there's reporting and exporting capabilities. You can use all the filtering and the querying capabilities to build lists of issues based on certain criteria, certain questions that you have about what those issues are related to, whether it's different phases of commissioning, different types of equipment that those issues are attached to, or whatever the case is. So I would say the answer is yes, in terms of specifically what they were curious about. I guess I'd need clarification, but hopefully that answered the question.
Okay, thanks so much, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the main benefits of adopting a cloud platform for commissioning and test and balance?
So, a lot of them, hopefully I made some of those clear, but I think the main ones are really streamlining your operations, taking all of that administrative work that everyone's doing when they're setting up a new project, when they're managing a project, and when they're closing out a project. So we're trying to automate as much of the administrative work and the repetitiveness that goes into it. And that covers a lot. So, it's pretty obvious when we talk about the early stages. There's lots of template forms, template checklists and everything. There's tools, this project setup wizard. It makes it really easy to set a new project up and get a new project started. But I think the biggest benefits are really once the project starts. So you start to get in design phase, and then especially as you get into construction phase, you've got the whole project team on the platform. Everybody's sharing information in real time. So there's no delay in information updates, and that feedback loop is so much faster, and the information is it's so much higher quality because you're not having to wait to collect a bunch of forms from the field to get back into your team's hands, and then ultimately to build reports off of and create progress reports and feed that back to your clients or the general contractor. All of that's happening in real time, and it's all happening automatically. It's all happening as soon as contractors checking a checkbox or completing a form in the field, or your team's finishing a test form or design review or whatever it is. All the dashboards, all the metrics, all the tracking, it's all being updated in real time. So again, the velocity of the communication, the quality of the communication, it's really going up a lot. And then at the end of the project, report creation, systems doing all the work where you can say, okay, I want a report that contains all of this type of information. And then the report builder goes into the project, pulls it all out, and builds it into a PDF file or a zip file or any type of archive file that you want. So it's automating a lot of this administrative work, and it's improving efficiencies and the quality and standardization and consistency across the board.
Thanks, Andy. I see a bunch of people typing in BlueRithm rocks. Thank you. We'll get to you in just a bit. A couple more questions, though. A few people asking, what's the status or what's your plan to integrate BlueRithm into other construction software platforms such as Procore or BIM 360?
Yep. Yeah, good question. So we've had an API for quite a while. We are actually rolling out a new API right now, and this API is going to be dedicated specifically to integrations with other platforms. So we've actually got a couple projects underway right now with other platforms, digital twin platforms, construction management platforms. If somebody has, specific questions, they could reach out and we could talk about that. But that's going to be a big focus of ours this year, and especially moving forward. So definitely have the integration capabilities. We have the API capability, and we're really looking to expand that and accelerate that and make that an area of focus for the rest of this year and into the future.
Wonderful. Do you mind talking a little bit about security? They're wondering, how is client information secured?
Sure. So we invest a lot in top tier infrastructure. All of our servers, database servers, file servers, application servers, API servers, they're all on enterprise grade infrastructure that is really as good as it gets in terms of the state of the industry and cloud-based infrastructure. So all of our servers are in Microsoft Azure data centers. We could get way down into the weeds on protocols and how data is being stored and everything else. But in summary, the way that our infrastructure is set up is about as good as it gets in terms of security and robustness and resiliency and everything else that goes into a modern cloud-based platform.
Thank you. And what about languages? Is it possible to have this system in other languages?
It is. So we have lots of international customers on every continent except Antarctica. And never say never. There's labs and other research going on down there. So it is being used in many other countries. When you input data into the system, it can be in any language. So it'll support data input in any language, but things like page titles and some of the kind of the fixed or static text that you'd see on any given page, that's still fixed as English only. We do have localization plans, which just means that we'll have support for other regions and languages in the future. But as it sits right now, it is being used for folks that have other native languages.
Thank you. And the last question we have lined up here, can you add hours for tasks to allow junior level engineers to know how much time they have available for each task, and anything to help assist to keep the project on task and on budget?
Yes. Yep. You can do that.